Hello and welcome to this edition of Diaspora Central Spotlight. I am Gil Ingles, and with me today in the studio, ladies and gentlemen, directly from Houston, Texas, this brother, it's all about church. iNAEL.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Diaspora Central, man. Texas in the map.
Yes.
Houston.
Yes.
Yeah.
Houston, Texas.
Were you born and raised here in Houston?
No, so I was born and raised in Fort Wayne, Indiana. So that's up in the Midwest.
Got you.
And I came down here around 05, 06. And you know, it was right around the time where Houston was really like
starting to boom.
Yeah, they had the scene going. Like Houston was popping around that year.
Yeah.
I just pretty much dived right into it around.
Got you. Yeah. So did you even get a chance to go to school in Indiana?
So I went to school up until my 8th grade year, and then once I went to high school, I came straight to.
So what schools did you go to in Indiana?
So there's this one on Lakeside. It's called Lakeside Middle School. It's on the north side of the town. A little nicer area, but I stayed on the south side, so we had to take our bus all the way up to the north side.
Yeah,
to school there.
Okay,
but not too many memories for it. It's more when I came.
Yeah, once you got here, that's when real life started. Yeah. But any teachers though, or anyone from that community though, that you kind of remember that you feel that sort of influenced you somehow? Away from, of course, people at home.
Got you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily any teachers, but we did have a lot of community programs and people.
Yeah. Name like some, because you know we got viewers out there that they may be looking for some community programs to join.
One of the biggest ones was Marshall White with UPAF. It's called United Performing Arts Foundation.
Okay.
He has a choir thing that he does, and they're pretty big. They did concerts all across the country. They actually did the Olympics a while back, but when I was young, we was singing the choir, and he really shaped us early on.
Okay, and what's the name of that program again?
UPAF, United Performing Arts Foundation,
right.
And it's in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah, wow. Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been there.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. I've been there. Yes. I have actually cousins that graduated from that university right there. Yes, sir.
IPFW.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, so I've been there. As a matter of fact, a little bit of a personal note. That's the first road trip that my daughter took with me. Just me and her. It was me, her, and my brother.
Wow.
Yeah, we made it from DC to from Maryland to Indiana to Fort Wayne.
Oh wow.
Yes, sir.
How long was that drive?
It was an overnight. I normally drive overnight, man. I get off probably take off around, I would say 11 p.m. or 12 midnight. So that way the road's already clear and I don't have to worry about whatever. Just relax. And I think we got there. It may have been, for some reason, I think there may have been somewhere around 8 hours, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Yeah. It's almost like a shift, a watch.
Yeah, we was driving from Houston to there. So we would do the drive back and forth a few times. And that's probably, we'll say, like, between 14, 16 hour drive.
Yeah, that's gotta be quite long. I done from here to Washington, D.C. also. That's 20 to 22 hours pretty much. Yeah. And I'm one of those. When I'm on the road, I gotta keep going. I can't stop and all these resting and whatever. No, very seldom I do that.
I hear you.
Yeah, Fort Wayne, Indiana, in the building.
Indeed.
Yeah, but you are Houstonian, really.
Yeah,
Houston forged your character.
Yeah, because from high school on, and I've been down here probably 14 years. So it's already.
You've been here more than anywhere else.
Oh
in your
yeah.
life.
Oh yes.
Now, what brought you to Houston?
So my mom, I think she just got tired of the environment of Fort Wayne. You know, we was on the south side, so it wasn't always good. So I think it was just the environment was just tiring, you know.
Gotcha.
So she was like, all right, man, we get up and we gonna go to Texas. And we just got up and moved down here. We got some family down here too, so we was connected with them.
Yeah. Now, did you guys drive or you guys flew?
Yeah, we drove.
You drove?
We drove.
Yeah, you and mom?
Yeah, but so I have a mom, and then I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters.
Okay, so big family.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's the mom's name, if you don't mind asking?
Michael Goodwin.
Okay.
Michael Goodwin.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
And what about about the siblings?
I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters. My brother oldest Razan, and then Desi.
Yeah.
Then Jabrina and Quintrell, all unique names too. Yeah. So shout out to my mom. All unique names.
That definitely creative.
Yes, indeed.
Now, I guess that can kind of tell you, was she into the arts? Is she one of your main inspirations
very
or
artistic
supporters?
Very artistic and stylish. I think really take big on style. That's her thing. And then poetry as well. She was very good with poetry, so she does a lot of writing.
So that's where your bars come from.
Yeah. Oh yes. Yes, indeed.
And what about Pops? Any
so I've probably seen him maybe 2-3 times. So I didn't really know him.
Got you.
That
okay.
well.
Yeah. Is he still living?
No, he actually passed in my 9th grade year.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah. Okay, but he was not involved in that.
No.
Okay. So now when it comes to and we don't have to, you don't have to answer if you don't feel like it, but I always believe that these are inspirational things because there always are the young men in the same situation that you've been to at some point, right? A lot of young men, a lot of times they feel like, okay, if they don't have that father figure right there, there's always, they feel trapped, but there's always other father figures or other individuals to fulfill that role. Was there anyone that fulfilled that role for you?
Yes, there's a real good family friend of mine, Curtis Jenkins. He actually just passed a couple of days ago.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, but he was
condolences.
Thank you. He was probably the closest that I got to see as like father figure.
Yeah.
And it's a blessing because I got to see what that dynamic looked like to have a man of the household.
Right.
So that was amazing.
No, and that's pretty good because there's always hope. There's always hope, and I mean, circumstances of life are what they are. Circumstances, they shouldn't determine what the outcome of an individual would be. But of course, mom is the one that gets your style and gets your bars, gets you going, right?
Yes.
Queen of the house.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Raising kings.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, indeed.
Now, out of you guys, anybody else who's also poet or artist?
Yes.
Or just you?
We all kind of mess with music, but I'm probably the one who's really dived into it.
Got you.
My sister is a graphic designer, Desrielle. She has the brand Saul Good. Yeah. I was wearing it on the performance. So that Saul Good is her brand. So she's doing a lot of design on all my covers and stuff like that. So
So you even have so you have a team right within the family, right? You need to have her come through one of these times so we can have that conversation.
Definitely, I'll definitely do that because she's definitely talented, skilled at what she do, and I would love to.
Yeah. Now, was being an artist something that you always wanted to be?
I think it was in me, but I wouldn't say I wanted to be it. No, I want to say I really started to dive into the artistry maybe 5 years ago, but early on I would probably play with it and you like see it here and there, but it was not something that I was like, all right, let me do something.
So at that point, were you not yet really dabbling with artistry like a lot? What were you trying to be, or what was it that you focused on primarily?
So it was mostly just going with the flow, I would say. And, I started with the Navy. I was in the Navy for 4 years.
Okay, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I spent time in Japan, and then it was kind of going with the flow from there, just trying to figure things out. Yeah. And then I ended up going accounting. I was going to study accounting, and it just wasn't for me. So I was continuing moving around just to see what interest in music caught on.
Now let's go Navy. So did the military happen right after high school, or
right after high school.
So to tell us that story, how exactly does that happen?
Oh man, so my brother,
what drives you to it? Go on.
My brother, he was signing up first. He actually didn't make it, but once he did that, it was like, okay, let me see what that's about. And I got in and signed up, and at the time I really didn't know what I wanted to do. So let me go do this, and I'll get free schooling from it and stuff like that. I'll get to see the world. So that's kind of what kind of drove me to go ahead and jump in there. But it was a completely different experience and shocking.
Yeah,
yes,
yeah. Now, how was the experience? You described it as different and shocking. Give us a little more detail, like, okay, because I mean, different people, different experiences, and one thing I personally believe that, okay, that there's a level of discipline and leadership that definitely everyone gains from being in the military, right? So, but your opinion, though?
Yes. I would definitely say the discipline and leadership. I definitely was something I really picked up on. And the different cultures, you really get around different people and stuff. And my first, it was my first time going outside of the country.
There you go.
When I was there, I was in Japan for 4 years. So, I'm 18 years old, and all we were doing was like partying, drinking,
experiencing
and working,
a new culture.
Oh yes. But I enjoy that part of it. But I was a engineer when I was in there. We worked on steamships, so it was pretty much getting the steamships underway and moving through the water. So I was in the bottom of that engine room.
Got you. So you're the man in the boiler room.
Yes.
Yeah, the man making sure that boiler was up and running.
Yes, it was hot too.
So you still have your steam engineering license?
So no, I don't.
Well, you can always get it back though, in case you need to. But that's just one other career path that you can take. I don't know if you're aware of that or not. But power plants that generate electricity, they actually. That's what they do. They have steam engineers who actually run those boilers. Because the boilers generate the vapor. The vapor turns the what you call that, the generator, and the generator does the power. Exactly. Yes. So this power right here is coming from steam also. And I think the NRG or Reliant is probably one of the companies that you definitely, in case you ever look, you should probably take a look at them. Definitely. Indeed. Or recommend somebody else that was with you in that ship that may be looking for something.
For sure.
Yeah. So military, and then you get out of the military, and that's when you kind of you come out. You ready for just straight school, or
So I pretty much went straight out. Took a couple of trips, New York, and just to kind of get around a little bit. But I pretty much went right into school to do HVAC. So I started because it was still doing the same type of stuff on the ship, HVAC. So I was like, all right, let me mess with that a little bit. I pretty much learned it, and then as I'm going, I was like, okay. I don't see myself doing this career-wise, so let's move to accounting eventually.
There you go.
So, it's just a lot of moving around and figuring it out.
But at that point, I guess what you're doing is you're getting all the tools that you need to actually do what you do, you also do now, right? So let's go ahead and take a very quick break and take a look at some of your content so that we can see exactly what is it that iNAEL is out there for his fans, all right? So we'll be right back.
Break bread, propose a toast. I scan the room, see the 12 I love the most. Now my heart is full. They don't know the doom that's sure to come, but I do. As I stare in the eyes of he, do what you gotta do. I felt the shift inside the room. As attention started thicken, the puzzle faces zoom into my bosom. One was leaning heavy, thinking I look at Peter. Before the cock crows, he'll deny me 3 times and ask on Jesus. Strike the shepherd and watch the flock scatter. I could be madder, but it was written down in the scripture if you listen. Time is ticking, Satan is creeping for a window to come and get me. I'll be right here in the Garden of Gethsemane. And he said to his disciples, sit here while I pray.
And we are back. If you have just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight, and our guest today is iNAEL. Yes, one of the creative artists of Houston. This man is definitely one of the upcoming individuals with bars that is taking us through that journey of understanding that the South has got its own lingo. Church.
Church. Yes, indeed.
Eventually, I'm going to learn how to say it like you say it. Now, a man, of course, born, lives in Indiana, a little bit, comes to Houston, Texas. What makes Houston, Texas home for you?
Man, I just think the culture, and I was kind of resistant to it when I first came down, you know, because grew up in Indiana and it was such a small thing. It was what I knew. So first coming down, I was real resistant to it. But then just as you're here for so long, it's just the culture, the people, you know, the music. And I think I came at such a good time when the music for it was really growing. And just the overall energy, you know, the pace that we move in. So I love it. I love it.
Yeah. So as you pick up and of course you acclimate, you at some point realize that, you know what, you got this gift of rhyming, the gift of bars, as they say now, right?
Yes. And I would say it was. When I got out of the Navy, that's when I actually started messing with the writing more here and there, but it wasn't like to where I wanted to actually do it. I would just write little short clips of just songs and stuff here and there, and then
features.
Pretty much. yes. And really, once I got saved, it gave me so much more to write about, and that's when I was like, okay,
got you.
We on the song.
So basically, being saved is what.
So that's when you give your life to Yahweh.
Right.
Just returning to how we say the garden. We're believing in Yahshua and the promise that He gave us, Him coming, dying, and resurrecting, and you know, giving us that salvation. So.
Right. So. And that transitions you into self.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You basically, you discover your purpose.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Now, we all know that taking that first step is always very difficult, right? It's almost a leap of faith.
Yes, indeed.
Right? How was yours?
Starting out, because you start off with this shock. It's like, oh man, I feel this. It feels good. It's amazing.
You're inspired.
Yeah. But then you get to this point where you get hit with this. I would say the spiritual warfare, where it's like, oh man, it's real out here.
Yeah, self-doubt.
Yeah, and I would say just starting off early on. Once I wrote my first project, it was just excitement more than anything.
Got you.
Than getting through all that doubt and stuff.
What was the title of that first project?
It was called 7 Day Maze. So it covers. It's pretty much written like how they do in the Bible. This first 7 days.
Got you.
So my first day of me getting saved, and then you go day by day, Monday, Tuesday,
okay,
or whatever.
Okay, so give us a set of bars on that project that you remember right off the top of your head, if you can.
All right. 7 days, 7 phase, moonwalk, skip, run through the maze. Sit in church, but I'm stuck in my ways. Should I pray? Want to make another day? I feel stressed, can't rest. What test will I go through next? I feel sad. So that's a little bit of it. That's what I remember so far.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good right there, right here on Diaspora Central. See, that's where we get the real artists, and we make them. We impromptu make them. No, we just having fun, man. We just having fun.
It's crazy. So, that was 4. I did that 4 years ago. I actually did that project in about 10 days. So,
oh wow.
Yeah. And
So take us through the process, because this is actually good. So 10 days, dude, you aggressive.
Yeah.
You excited, and you riding that wave of excitement. You're not sleeping at this point, right?
Oh yeah.
So take us through that process. What triggers it? I mean, tell us that story.
Got you. So initially, I really wasn't into music. So what started me with actually creating the project, because I really didn't have plans to create a project, but I think out of frustration, something happened. I don't remember what it was, but something happened. I was like, all right, let me go and write this down. And then it came to me trying to find a beat. I couldn't find a beat, so I was like, let me make my own beat.
Okay.
So I made the beat, and then I wrote the first song for the project.
Got you. Not to cut you off, just I need additional details. So now, of course, you wrote these lyrics, the rhymes. Now you need a beat. You're gonna make a beat. Did you already have the equipment? Did you already know how to make a beat, or you went out and you picked up a piece of equipment to do that?
So with this, I did it. It's crazy. I did it from my phone.
Okay.
I used an app. I didn't know how to make beats or nothing like that. It was just like the sound that I had in my head. And I was like, started playing with it on my phone. It's called Oxy. So I was playing with the instrumentation on there. And from there, I was building the beats and stuff.
So the name of the app is Oxy?
Oxy, yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Man, that's the first. I didn't know that. You just educated me on something. Using your phone.
Yes.
And a free app.
Yes. Yeah.
So your first song was really your label and a free app. Now, you make the beat, right? As you discovering the app, of course.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. After you get done, you got to put it into some form of some tangible form where people can actually hear it. What was the approach there?
Okay. So
that you could get the vocals on it.
So once I wrote the song, I had the beat set up. I went to my engineer that I was working with at a time at Audible Studios.
Okay, you can give the name if you want to shout them out.
I'll just say Audible Studios, Random at Audible Studios. His name was Random.
Okay.
So I went, that was probably like one of the first 2 sessions that I did.
Yeah.
So I would write it, make the beat, write it, and then go to the studio, record it. And then the next day, or maybe in the same day, I'll make another beat and I'll write again, go back to the studio. So I was doing this within a 10-day period.
And you ended up releasing, what was the body of work? An album, an EP?
Yeah, it was an EP.
Was an EP. It was an EP. And that was your first EP?
First EP.
Which was titled?
7 Day Maze.
7 Day Maze.
7 Day Maze.
Wow.
Yes.
And the theme song is the one that you just gave us a few bars of.
Oh, yes. And it was, that one's Sunday, so it starts with the first day of the week, and it's the intro to the album. And, that was a fun one.
Okay, so going through that process, though, it seems like I mean, interesting to me because many people go about it differently, but the interesting thing to me is that even as you going and you discovering, you're doing these things scientifically, sort of like in a way that most people do it, right?
Yes.
So now you sit now and you're making your beats on the app and you writing the rhymes, and then you get to the studio. So you basically at the studio, do you turn the beat into an MP3 or a wave in your phone, and then you transfer over to his system as a 2-track, rhyme over it?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So then the engineer goes in and does he chop the beat and try to rearrange it to make sense, or you do all that on the phone before you take it to him?
Everything I do, I would make the beat, build all the instruments and stuff, and then I would save it as a wave or MP3 file. And once I do that, I just take the beat and send it to him, and then I just record.
Go in,
over
do
it.
Your vocals.
Yeah. There's some engineers I work with now. Now I learned that your engineer has to be really in tune with who you are and how you sound, where they can go in and play with these tracks.
Indeed, because when you're mixing, and it's like that's the good thing about music, right? Because when you go in to mix it, if the song, let's say it's on multi-track, it gives you the ability to kind of take this, so you can kind of actually work the song and the instruments, and today with filters and everything else, man, people are doing like wonders with sounds, right? But anyway, so you discover the process, you do it, and are you still using the app, or now you have a beat making piece of equipment?
So now the last 2 projects I've done more outsourcing with the beat.
Got you.
One, because it is like I do enjoy beat making, but it takes away from like the writing.
You're focusing. So
I wanted to focus a lot more on the writing, and then having the beat that's up to that standard to where I feel like I've grown.
No, which is good. So you open the door, and after you open the door, now you're inviting other people over to party with you.
Oh yes,
right?
Oh,
yes. Yeah, because now you got the party going on. So you inviting producers. So who are some of the producers that you're working with now?
So there's on this newest project, MB Wave. These are people I find on internet, and a lot of times I hear different sounds that they have for specific projects, and I just pretty much get a lot of their songs from the entire project.
Gotcha.
So MB Wave, and then there's another one named BK Anderson from Germany. He did one of the first. He was one of the first ones that I kind of outsourced with the beats.
Gotcha.
And then from there, I was like, okay, I can actually do this. And,
so you guys have a good dynamic, and it's been working out pretty good.
Oh yes.
Yeah, because currently you have, of course, the first EP. 7 Day Maze.
7 Day Maze, yes.
Right? And then you have other bodies of work also.
Indeed.
Okay,
Yes,
what are they?
So I have 7 Day Maze, The Pen of a Ready Writer, The Land of Us, the second Maze, so it's like the sequel to the 7 Day Maze.
Okay.
And then this one that is going to be released on Friday is titled Pray Because the World is Dark.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a quick break and go into another body of work right here by iNAEL. What do you say?
Church.
We'll be right back right here on Diaspora Central Spotlight.
Prayer, Lord save us. This darkness spreading cover the nation. It was written, Escobar could tell you. Study the living scripture, I'm bleeding it on this paper. Please replay that, like instant playback. Playback to the days I would pray that. Prayer that you would say when there's too much for you to pray about. Even though I valley through the shadow of death, I fear not. You hear that? I know he's with me clearly. While his staff moving swiftly, lift me in front of enemies. Table prep with the fixing. Oil drip from my dreadlings. Lost, cup flow it over the top. All the days of my life is goodness and mercy. I'm thirsty till I dwell in your house. I'm cold.
And we are back. If you've just joined us, you're now tuned into Diaspora Central Spotlight. And yes, iNAEL Church is in the building.
Yes,
Now, you have a saying that you normally have on your shirts, and I actually wanted to remember that, and I can't. What is that saying?
So it's Saul Good. That's my sister's brand, and I love it. And you'll see me a lot out with it or something when I'm performing. I'll most likely have it on.
Yeah.
So it's from a man in the Bible. His name was Saul, and he was the one that was out persecuting Christians. He would go out there killing them, and then he eventually. He's on the road to go kill Christians, where he was transformed and renewed. He had an encounter with God, and he changed his name into Paul. But the meaning behind the Saul Good, she would be able to explain it better, but to my understanding is we all have this us who before we actually found who we were. We were out doing these things that we would do before we,
before we found our purpose.
Yeah, find our purpose, and you're not counted out because of that. And the saying normally, what does the shirt say? The ones that you normally wear. What does it say specifically? So it says "Saul Good." So if you say it fast, it's like it's all good. It's all good. So it says "Saul Good."
It's wordplay. It's wordplay, and I think that's what makes it catchy, because it's like a person reads it, and then it's like eventually you connect the dots and be like, okay, I see what it is. So now you also have merchandise for your brand.
So I'll do it here and there. I actually have this shirt that I started doing, Pray Because it's for the new album, Pray Because the World is Dark. So I'm kind of messing with some stuff for that now, and eventually it'll be
available. Okay. Now, people normally, if they need to get in touch with you, your music and everything else, is that a website or Instagram, or how exactly do they do that?
Yes, on Instagram is iNAEL, iNAEL __, and then the music, same name, iNAEL, and you pretty much could pull up all the music on any streaming site, YouTube, Apple Music, so it's all there. Yes, indeed.
Okay. No website yet?
No website
yet. But in case you do need to, you can always come to Diaspora Central. We of course are going to have a link to a lot of his content that you can take a look at. Now let's kind of move forward. So big plans for iNAEL. What do we have coming up, and what's new? Of course, a new album being being released. Right?
Yes, indeed. So this is going to be Friday. It'll be released. I've been working on that for the past 7 months.
Okay.
And then I'll have shows here and there, Houston, but I'm starting to branch out. Indiana. I was actually just in Chicago. So next we'll be back in Indiana twice actually next year. So shows here and there.
So you touring?
It's going to get to a point where I really will start.
I mean, that is
sure.
touring because it's really, I mean, in a smaller scale, but it is touring, and you're not just doing shows here. You actually going to other cities and things. Now, one of the things that you probably could tell people who are also just, I don't want to say also because I mean you already have five years under you at this point. You already vetted, because we all know that the first 2 years they the make it or break it years, right? If you don't go beyond 2, it's not gonna happen, right? You 5 years in, 3 bodies of work, right? Out, and you got a 4th one coming out.
4. I want to say 4 going on 5.
4 going on 5. Okay, so name all 4 of them so that we can make sure that people can pull them all up.
Got it. So 7-Day Maze, the Pen of a Ready Writer, the Land of Us, the second maze, and then this 5th one will be Pray because the world is dark.
Pray. The one thing that very few people do.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Are you a man of prayer?
Yes, and I feel like I should I'm working on getting better with my prayer and how often I do it, because we need that, especially in this world today. Yeah. It's needed.
Indeed. Yeah. So you highly recommend.
Yes. Indeed.
Yeah, I too do, because I believe that in all honesty, until we get our minds and ourselves there, it's difficult to manage everything else and all the distractions that can come to an individual. Yeah. You mentioned one thing about your sister's brand, right?
So good.
Yeah, so good, right? And a lot of times, if we're not careful on making sure that we really focused by praying, it's very easy to go back to the old way of being, right?
It really is.
So we become Paul, but right after we become Paul, we right back into being Saul again, right?
Yes, indeed. And that's the thing. One of the biggest things, like, I really try to make sure, like, that's why I pray. I feel prayer definitely for me, because it's so easy. It is so easy to get back into that. It just take like one little thing and you're back.
And there are triggers that the devil at times is also aware of, and he's always willing to also pull and push it. Now, I like to give accolades on this show. One of the ones that I would really like to give to you is your performance at Afro Sounds. Okay, that was really, really good. And here's what I appreciated about your performance is the fact that you can see that your content was curated, right? You put work into it, because there are people who actually have the gift, and they don't really curate the work; they just do it, right? And then you have individuals that actually curate the work, to have the gift, take time to curate the work, to make sure that it is presented the right way, and they're ready to present it at any point in time because they know that they worked on it, right? They stay ready. And for that, I appreciate you, because you know what? You came in, you did one show, we called you in right for the next show, and you were like, yeah, I'm down, and you were one of the headliners for that show, and we appreciate you for doing that, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, new album coming in. Any visuals out there that you want to bring to the attention of the fans?
Yeah, so one of the actual full-length visuals it is actually for, let's call it, church. So that's the one where I got it full. The other ones I do short clips. You can on YouTube, same name, iNAEL. Yeah, and you'll be able to catch either the clips or the, let's call it, church visuals. Yeah. I think I'm getting better with actually putting the visuals together, especially the short clips and stuff.
And you've been working. Are you the one who's been, I guess, conceptualizing them, shooting them, editing them, and doing all that, or you have a team that also is doing it with you?
There's with the Let's Call It Church video. There's Isaiah Robin. Okay, he's another good artist in the gospel realm. Okay, very good, but he also shoots video. Blue Reel filming production. Okay. So he did the Let's Call It Church, but for the short clips, it's me and my brother. Yeah, we'll come together and shoot them. You got
look, all in the family right there. Yes. You got the branding sister, right? Who's got the merch. I'm sure she's helping you with the merch. Yes, right. Yes. And then you have the brother helping you with the technical details and the shooting and the creative process.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. No, but that's what it is all about. You cannot build enterprise rises by yourself.
Yes,
you gotta tap into, and starting at home is always the good thing, because now you have a solid base, and when you start reaching out into the ones coming from the outside, you're expanding. Yes. Indeed. Yeah. Anything that we should have touched on that I didn't get a chance to, or that I didn't touch on?
Man, I think it went so smoothly. Everything was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I think everything was pretty much touched on.
Yeah. Thank you. So, any shout outs that you would like to give before we close?
Yes. Shout out to the family. Very supportive. And what we do. Shout out to your station and the platform that you created to bring the different artists, because you had some dope artists come through.
Thank you.
The live band sound, like
Set Institute is really the place that I think if we should say something here, is definitely, if you are an artist, if you are a creative, you do need to visit Set Institute's Afro Sound.
Yes, indeed.
Right. And I believe that it is a platform that will really help anyone with their musicianship, because you then performing before other creatives, right? And that kind of ups your game. Yeah. But thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah. Any other shout outs?
Shout out to Chris Jordan with Bearing Studios. He's been working with me for the past 4 projects that I've been working on. And I think it's real important, like if you're in the music, to have this engineer that gets you and get your sound, gets where you're going with the music and your direction, and makes for a better product. Yeah.
No, indeed. And you know what? I'm going to say it right on air. You need to pass me the brother's contact, because I need to visit them before the end of sometime soon. I need to visit them. I need to visit them. I've been there one time before, and I think I can't remember now the engineer that was there. I think her name was Chopstick.
So it was a female.
Lady engineer.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was there with shout out to John Fagendo. He was the artist that actually I went there with. Yeah, he was the one who was there, and I kind of went to chill on that session.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So Barron's, right? Off of 10.
Yeah, right off of 10.
Yeah. I went there one time.
Good people, man. They're serious about their craft and what they do, and you can tell because they've been there for a long time. And I think mostly if you're in Houston, they're one of the people to go to.
Cool. Yeah, no, and that's a good thing. And yeah, man, I appreciate you taking time on your busy schedule to come and visit us, right?
It's a blessing.
Yeah, we definitely looking forward, and we're rooting for this new body of work that you got coming out. What's the title again?
Pray, because the world is dark.
Pray, because the world is dark. Yes, and you remember, you don't just live. No, you got to pray. You got to stay focused. You got to concentrate. And it's really possible to accomplish everything that you set your mind to. But you have to focus, you have to be dedicated, you have to want to. And at times, you have to remember that you should never allow the circumstances of what you're going through to determine who you really are. So until next time, remember, if we don't do it for ourselves, nobody else will. Peace.
Peace.